Now, in an era where data has become as valuable as money, the risk of cyber attacks, fraud, and data breaches continue to rise. The question is, how can businesses, especially in Nigeria, protect themselves and their customers from these growing threats? To help us answer these questions, we have with us Mr. Gideon Joseph, a seasoned cybersecurity expert. It's a pleasure to have you in the studio, Mr. Joseph.
Thank you very much.
To start off, when people hear cybersecurity, it often sounds like something for big corporations. Why should small and medium businesses also be concerned?
Well, practically, small and medium businesses should be concerned about cybersecurity because they are the primary targets of the hackers, otherwise known as the cyber criminals, knowing that these individuals or these small and medium businesses may not have the robust resources to tackle the cyber attack, so they become the targets of the cyber criminals. And why they should take cybersecurity very seriously is because when you look at the big businesses, for instance, who have built a certain level of integrity and reputation over the years, they quake when they hear their systems has been breached. So you then think about the smaller ones. It becomes very necessary for them to also take care of their cyber security systems, because a small breach could cause, loss of data. It could cause lack of trust from the public and from customers, and it could also crumble the business as well.
So from your experience, what are the most common cyber threats businesses in Nigeria face today, and which sectors are most vulnerable?
Well, the common cybersecurity threats businesses face in Nigeria, I would say it ranges from phishing attacks to ransomware attacks and business email compromise. And the businesses which are mostly attacked by these threats, it's basically the telecommunication industry. And I'm going to give us an example of the phishing attacks. It happens when, or should I say, either the computer is subject to intrusion or the computer is a tool in committing these attacks, whereby they get unsolicited emails from different sources, making use of personal email addresses on computer networks, office computer networks. It brings those networks to vulnerabilities, and then they send those emails, you accept them, you open it, and probably sends you to a fake website, you enter it, and then you begin to see things that looks legitimate, but it's illegitimate. And a lot of small and medium businesses fall for this.
Now, many companies rely heavily on digital platforms for payments and customer engagement. How vulnerable are these platforms, and what precautions should businesses take?
Oh, well, as I like to say, when you speak of cyber threats or cybercrime, it's orchestrated 70% by social engineering and 30% by technical know-how. Now, why is this? This is because these cyber criminals exploit on individual or organization ignorance in order to, commit these cyber crimes against them. So let's say that it's more easy to encourage a robust cybersecurity framework in an organization by making sure staffs within the organization are trained properly to ensure that they know what cybersecurity is, how to prevent these attacks, because it's basically part of everything we see in our day-to-day activities, using poor password, poor encryption, ignorance from staff. These are things that when staff knows this, it becomes easy to tackle these cyber threats.
All right, let's now talk about the average business owner, let's say someone running a medium-sized trading company or a growing tech startup, what are the most common cybersecurity mistakes you have observed? And why do you think businesses continue to make such errors?
Okay. One of the, or some of the errors I've discovered is poor use of password. It's something that most businesses do not take very seriously. They do not ensure that their encryption is properly done, which makes them vulnerable. And what I would advise these organizations to do is to ensure that these passwords are put correctly, making use of not just things that are very easy to guess. You know, when we speak of cybersecurity, there are certain things that are considered necessary to follow, certain, what's the word? Certain key lines or keynotes things to address. When you're setting a password, you make use of phrases, you make use of words, you make use of commas, full stops, and the rest of them to ensure that the password is robust and it's not easy to, be hacked.
All right, there is often the issue of cost. Some businesses feel cybersecurity is expensive. What are some affordable or practical solutions you can suggest for small businesses?
Okay, like I said previously, strong passwords, very important. This is something that is very affordable. You don't even need to spend to be able to know how to ensure that your password is safe and robust. Staff training is very important as well. If the staff of any given organization is trained properly to understand what cybersecurity is about, you have cut down at least 60% of the cyber threats that looms within the organization. Also, ensuring that you have backups in the event of impending cyber attack, you have backups to rely upon. So these are some of the things we could look into to ensure that we don't spend much on cybersecurity as an organization or as a small medium business.
Yeah, social engineering, which you earlier mentioned, where criminals manipulate people rather than hack systems directly, seems to be increasing. Can you share some examples of how these attacks work in Nigerian context and how employees can be trained to recognize them?
Okay. Will give us an example of the phishing attack of Yahoo in, I think, 2013, thereabout. It claimed over 3 billion accounts, 3 billion users' accounts, actually. And this happened when a staff within the Yahoo organization got an unsolicited email. It could be anything. But in this context, let's say he saw a better job outside that he felt he could take an opportunity. And he clicked into that email, opened the link, and when he got there, the cyber criminals gained access into their networks through that reckless acts. And when he gained access into their networks, they were able to, hold it to ransom. And they claimed over 3 billion accounts. As at the time, Yahoo was at the verge of being purchased by Verizon, but due to that singular incident, the price dropped drastically. Would also give us an example in the context of our everyday lives. As we know about the internet fraudsters, the Yahoo boys, they make use of people's Facebook accounts. They'll send you an email, or they send you a push email to the server. Probably they have your email address. And then they push that thing, is what we call OTP, which is one-time password, telling you that your Facebook, you forgot your password, and then they call you, okay, you've won a certain amount of money, but to access it, you have to send us this password to ensure that you are the owner of the account. And you not knowing, you send that. Now, that is what we call social engineering, because they have been able to leverage on your ignorance for their own cyber attack.
So how can employees of small businesses be trained to recognize these tricks?
Well, in the case of cybersecurity, is an everyday thing. Regular training is very, very key. It's very important. As a matter of fact, I am part of an organization that train organizations on knowing what cybersecurity entails. And you know, sometimes you discover that they don't really know what it entails, and they hear a lot of things that it's astonishing to them. So I believe if organizations do not have people, experts in the field who can train their staff, they should source out from outside bodies who specialize in this area of training.
All right. The Central Bank of Nigeria has issued various cybersecurity directives, and we have the Cyber Crimes Act as well. In your assessment, is the regulatory framework adequate, or are there gaps that businesses should be aware of?
Well, like I said, it's an ever-growing trend. For now, yes, it's adequate. As a matter of fact, it was not there, if not recently. What we only had was the Act concerning computer-generated evidence, 2011. So I think that's a very good innovation, and with time, it's going to improve. So that's what I believe.
All right. So if a company suffers a cyber attack, what steps, very briefly, should they take in the first 24 hours to minimize damage and begin recovery? Very briefly. Well,
they should sort the expertise of the cybersecurity expert to analyze the computer or network that has been attacked, to see the extent of the attack, and to find ways at which such attacks could be mitigated before it lacerates more, and to ensure business continuity within the 24 hours at which the attack has taken place, to ensure that the business is not affected.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gideon Okojo Joseph, for your insights.
Thank you very much.
Moving on to further strengthen core